Hi, welcome to the Our Pastime channel. This is Tom, and today I will be doing a tune-up or a get ready type checkup for a snowblower. The snowblower I have here right next to me is a Husqvarna 27 inch. It's kind of a rare model. Usually they're 28 or 24 inch models is the standard size, but this one's a 27 inch wide housing on the where the auger is. It works really well. It has not given me any troubles really, except the occasional breakage of a shear pin or two. So today I'm just going to do a quick tune-up, get it ready for the upcoming 2022 winter season, which even though it's the day before New Year's in central Maine, really has not started. The winter season really has not started yet. We haven't had much snow. Temperatures have been really warm, like in the 40s. So any snow that we have gotten has melted fairly quickly. I think the most snow we've gotten in any storm right here at my location is about 3 inches, and that melted off, basically halfway melted off the next day. So we really haven't had to do much snow removal or cleanup after any storms so far this winter season, but with 2 months left of good snowy seasons, with 2 months left of good snowy potential, I got to get the snowblower ready for that. In case I'm not here, my son can get out there and clear the driveway at least with the snowblower. So today, just going to do a couple quick checks to make sure the snowblower is ready to go, and we'll get right into that. This is a model 105 27, so the 27 stands for the 27 inch, I believe, and it's a model 10527 SB-LS, which snowblower dash whatever the LS is. It has electric hand warmers. It has the ability to power one wheel or both wheels, and which helps you turn in either direction. Chute deflector control. It has a little plastic scoop that came with it, I guess, to help clear clogs. It clips right on the front. Yeah, well, so what I'm going to do in this video is check the spark plug. I'm going to check the spark plug, change the oil, check the shear bolts, make sure they're still in good shape. I have some extra ones just in case. And we'll do a lube. We'll see if there's any zerks to take some grease, and we'll lube it up and get it all nice and shipshape for the upcoming potential snowy winter season that may or may not come in the next 2 months. Maybe 3 months. March sometimes here is the snowiest month, so we'll see what happens. But for now, we'll get the snowblower looked at and ready to go. A spark plug can be found under this little compartment cover. Put that out of the way. I think that's just a standard 13/16. I don't need that. Alright. Just a standard 13/16 spark plug socket. And let's check. The condition. It's a little black. What I usually like to do is take a razor blade, let's see, and just scrape off the black. Burning a little dark, so it's getting a little extra fuel, but I don't think that's too big of a concern. I usually go by how well it runs. On these small engines, sound is more important than what you find in here a lot of times in the spark plug. This would also indicate this black carbon buildup. You're going to find that is building up on the head as well, and every so often on my small engines I usually take the head off and clean that as well, but I won't do that this year on this one because that's a pretty light layer, a thin layer. That's barely anything to even worry about really, but I like to start out fresh and clean. Alright, then there we go. See if we can clean the top of the electrode off too. If I had a piece of emery cloth, I could get in there and do that really well, but it's really not hardly any buildup in there. Oops. Alright, that looks to be pretty good. Now, according to the owner's manual, that needs to be gapped at 30 thousandths. Okay. 30 thousandths. Whoops, we went past 30 thousandths. It should be that the middle of that mark right there. That mark right there. So what we got to do is close that gap just a little bit. Maybe we can just tap it with the... Doesn't take much. See, that already closed it quite a bit, about half the distance. So we'll just tap it a couple more times. Let's see. There we go, right at 30 thousandths. That's perfectly gapped. According to this gauge anyway. It's as far as I can slide that. Alright. Spark plug's good. We'll just put that back in. Alright. Well, tighten up the oops. I just make sure it's tight. I don't tighten too hard because it's got a compression ring on it, so it just needs to be tight. There. Step 1 done. Spark plug. Okay, now we will change the oil. This is where the oil comes out. To change the oil, we need to, there's a little cap right here. That cap is a 5/8. And we just need to take that off and loosen that, and then we can drain the oil. Okay, but there's a little trick to make changing the oil. As you notice, it's right, the tire is right there, and if you just let it drain, it's going to drain behind the oil and get behind the tire and get on everything. So there's a little trick. You can easily take the wheel off and then drain the oil without the tire in the way. Tires just held on with a little clip. Alright, then it's just a matter of sliding the tire off the axle, the wheel off the axle, and that gives us a lot more room to work. Just kind of let that rotate back. Now all we have to do is take the cap off, and that will drain right into this bottle. And there should only be 28 ounces of oil in there, which is at that last mark on the last hash mark on the bottle. Okay. Let's see if we can make a mess. Alright, that's pretty loose. Now let's see what happens. I think it needed to be changed. It looks pretty dark. So now we'll just let that drain, and then we'll put some fresh oil back into it. And when we go to put the oil back in, I'll be right back with you. Take the cap off the bottle, put it underneath the bottle, tilt it, that tilts the bottle right up against the side of the machine at just the right angle so that the oil drips right straight down into the bottle. How much easier can that be? No mess. I'm impressed. Okay, the oil has finally stopped draining, and we can go ahead and put the cap back on and put the wheel back on. Let's do that right now. That's fairly full. Got a good drain. Tight enough. Let's clean up any little drips of oil on the floor. Alright. And then I'll slide the tire back on. And put the clip back on, the pin clip back in. There. Just like that, tire's back on and secure. Alright, so just a quick check to see how the shear bolts are doing. I just want to make sure they're actually there, honestly. So I got one there, and I got another one here. This one's a little loose, but that's probably okay. It's got a lock nut on it, so it's not going anywhere. And that is, my augers are engaged with the axle, so that's good. So I'm happy with that. Also notice I've got two grease fittings here, and since I see them, why don't I lubricate the auger axle right now while I'm here. It doesn't appear that they've been lubricated before. I could be wrong. You can see it's just starting to come out right there. Clear as mud, huh? Okay, now that one. Couple squirts there, and it's just coming out. See? Alright. I don't see any other places to lubricate. I don't. None there. Alright. Boy, my other snowblower has all kinds of places to lubricate. This one doesn't seem to have many. So before I go ahead and fill the oil, the last step I wanted to do on this was to check the lubrication in the gearing. That involves flipping the snowblower up on the front of its chute, and we'll do that right now. It's best to do that with the oil drained out so it doesn't leak out of the filler cap. And most of the snowblowers are designed to rest right on the front of their auger housing, believe it or not. Alright, let's take a look in here. This bottom is just hard, impact resistant plastic, but it's been impacted and broken. I think it came that way actually, I don't know. My other snowblower is actually, this piece down here is made out of metal. So Husqvarna varies decided they wanted to put impact resistant plastic under there for whatever reason. It's got 2 screws on either side, 5/8 or 5/16 screws that hold that in. So we'll loosen those and see what's underneath there. Alright, let's see what's under here. This is pretty mangled. Alright, set that off to the side for now. Let's look right in here. So, typical snowblower. Nothing much different from my other snowblower, except there apparently is no grease fittings whatsoever in here. I see absolutely no grease. This is the friction wheel and the friction plate. That's your speed. Depending on where that is the direction and the forward speed that your snowblower moves. I can demonstrate that a little bit. Right now it's in the reverse. It's in reverse. This would be slow reverse, and then as it moves to the right, that's your first speed all the way up into your high speed. And it's just this friction wheel and the position that it enters into the engages in with the friction wheel. And that's with the clutch. Alright, basically that's all that is. So what I want to do is I want to at least get some grease on those. So what's different about this snowblower is it also has the ability to, right now it's full wheel drive, both wheels turn at the same time, but it also has a release on either side to disengage the drive for each wheel, which helps it steer or move easier. It puts it into neutral if you pull both levers. One lever will, if this lever is in, if you pull the left lever, you can steer right. If you pull the right lever, you can steer left easier. Basically, that's how that works. The levers are up on the handlebars. Alright, but this needs a little bit of grease on the gears, in my opinion, which is what I'll do now. And the John Deere snowblower that I have actually has grease fittings that you would that would automatically lube these areas. But I'm just going to put a little dab here and there. And then run it around. Not put too much on, because a little bit goes a long way, I believe. Needs a little more, especially on the big gear. And I'll just keep working that until it gets evenly coated. That too. Just a little more. I believe that's just about right. Now we'll take the wheels off and we'll look, see what's behind those covers. Alright, let's see what's behind this wheel. Yeah, it's just a little clip ring. Wheel slides off pretty easily. And let's see. Looks like we've got, what do we got? Those look like 3/8. They are 3/8. Oops. There's one at the top and one at the bottom. What's behind the clutch? It's just a little housing to protect the gears behind there. Really not a lot to lubricate. There's some fine threads in the back there. There, you can see those fine threads right in there. I think those need a little bit of lubrication. Just put a little dab in there. There's see right in here. It just seems like there should be grease in there. So I'm putting some in because that spins around when the clutch is released, or So I'll do the same thing on the other side as well. Oh well. And since that wheel is on there, I'm just going to put some grease on the hub, on the axle as well. And brush that on. Can't hurt. So last, what, 14 years without it, but little TLC never hurt anything. There. And I'll do the same thing to the other side. We don't need to watch that. Just know that's a good maintenance thing to do. Alright. Next, I guess we'll put the wheel back on. I'll do the other side. And then it will be time to drain the fuel, fill the oil, and then we'll give it a start. Okay, so now we have lubed everything, checked the shear bolts, drained the oil, and now we're ready to put oil back in and drain the gas. So let's put the oil in before we forget to do that. No oil on the dipstick. I pre-measured oil into an old or previous used oil container. The type of oil I am using is this kind of oil. This was the lowest priced oil on Walmart's shelf. Obviously it's a Walmart brand. This was still $17. Guaranteed not to break down for a year, which is what I was looking for more than anything. So I'm fairly confident this is going to hold up. If it would hold up for 5,000 miles in a vehicle, then it will certainly hold up in a small engine. And it's guaranteed not to break down for a year. So we'll see how this works. Alright, so I pre-measured 28 ounces is this mark right there. It's hard to see on the camera. So we'll put in 28 ounces. See what happens. I'll put in almost 28 ounces. And then I'll put the dipstick in and see what we get. There is no air filter on a snowblower. I guess they figure that air in the wintertime is clean. I don't know why. On dusty days, when they sand the roads, it can be pretty dusty on certain days. But let's see what we got. we have just at the first mark. That's where the oil is registering. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the container in. .28 ounces seems to be the ticket. All right. And that has filled it right up to the fill line. Right up to that line right there. So, good. Got plenty of oil now. Now we just need to drain the gas. And to do that, there's two ways to do that. I could disconnect the fuel line from underneath the tank, or I could do it my favorite way and drain it from the top. I'm just going to use a jar to put the gas in, and use an electric pump. It's just activated by a switch here, 2D batteries, and should be able to fill up the jar with old gas. Now I use non-ethanol gas. So there'll be a little bit left in there, but this non-ethanol gas holds up a lot better than the gas with ethanol in it. And it's been in here for a year, or since last winter. And when you smell it, it still smells pretty fresh. Does not have the varnish smell to it. It is a little discolored, it's not completely clear, so it's starting to yellow and varnish a little bit, but certainly not like the stuff with the ethanol in it. But anyway, so there's just a covering on the bottom of the tank, which I'm not too worried about. Once I put the fresh gas in, that will all mix in fine. And where this is still really clean looking gas, and it still has a really gassy smell to it, I'm pretty confident that this will be mixing in some fresh gas is all I need to do. Alright, next step is to put some gas in it and start her up. Okay, we've moved over closer to the outside door where I feel a little safer about pouring gas inside of a dwelling. Again, I'm using my electric pump. And just put some gas in the tank. Flip the little thumb switch and we're pumping. A little bit below the level. There's a full tank right there. Just as easy as that. No drips. Look. I hang the pump outside, and I store the gas outside as well. Just because I don't want it inside my house. Now let's start that thing up. This has an electric start, so we'll move it closer to the door. Excuse me while I go by you. Alright, I'll plug it in. Don't forget to turn on the gas. Gas is turned on. Then we got to I don't know if you can see, but you got to pump it 3 times or 8 times till it drips out on the floor. Alright. Try that again. Here we go. Sounds a little dry. Where's the gas? Oh, we got gas dripping. Now we just press the button and hope for the best. Success. Ready for snow. Ooh, that's loud. And smoky. Alright, well, there you go. Tuned up, ready to go, ready for snow. Look at the tools that we used. We had oil. We had an 8mm, which was is the same as 5/16, I believe. I had another spark gap tester, but I didn't use that. I use a Champion spark gap tester. Used a 5/8 wrench on the drain plug for the oil, a spark plug wrench socket, and a 1/2 inch. So these were the only tools I needed. I also used a 1/2 inch socket. And I used over here, we used pre-measured oil, 28 ounces. That's what was required for the change. A funnel, and an old container for the old oil. That's basically all you needed. I also used the razor blade to clean to scrape off the carbon off of the spark plug. And that's all I used. That's all I needed to use to clean or to get the snowblower ready for 2022, the winter season of 2022. Also, I used a grease gun to lube up the gears underneath the blower housing or the engine. and between the wheels, actually, the gears between the wheels. And I also use the grease gun to lubricate the auger with the 2 Zerks that were there. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. I enjoy the comments, and I try to get back to you as soon as I can. This video featured a new piece of machinery to the channel. Featured the Husqvarna snowblower that we've had for a while. I inherited it from my parents a few years ago. It's a 2008. Works pretty good. And this was just a little video about what I go through to tune it up each year. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Tom with Our Pastime. Until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again real soon. Bye-bye.